from these 30-plus companies. Reporting in Bellbrook, Haley Kosick, News Center 7.
A nationwide shortage of Adderall, which is often used to treat ADHD, has the Justice Department looking at online mental health providers. Prior to the pandemic, medical professionals were required by law to see patients in person before prescribing any controlled substance. But the law was temporarily lifted due to the pandemic, and those drugs can now be prescribed through online appointments.
Without the requirement for a face-to-face visit, you can see businesses take advantage of the ease in which these drugs can be prescribed.
Many online companies are now urging the government to drop the in-person visit requirement permanently.
And the Bengals and Browns are gearing up for the second Battle of Ohio, as we like to call it here in the Buckeye State. Cleveland Browns wide receiver Donovan Peoples-Jones, he earned AFC Special Teams Player of the Week. Sunday, he returned 3 punts for 86 yards, including a 76-yard punt return for a TD during the Browns' 27-14 victory down south in Houston. And the Bengals quarterback, what's his name? Oh, yeah, that's right, Joe Burrow. He was named the AFC Offensive Player of the Week. And during Sunday's game against the Chiefs, he completed 25 of 31 passes, threw for almost 300 yards. His completion percentage tied for the second highest in the NFL for Week 13. And right here on Channel 7, we're going to have Battle of Ohio covered for you on the Orange Zone. It airs live every Sunday morning at 11:30 on Channel 7. During the show, John Bedell and our Larry Hanskin going to talk about the keys to the game, who's hot, who's not, who's going to win, who's not, and also going to have some trivia where you can win some prizes. And keep in mind, you can catch the Bengals and Browns, that game, right at 1 o'clock. That's kickoff down south in Cincy.
And now, your Storm Center 7 forecast with meteorologist Robert Gauthreaux III.
And beautiful, wouldn't you say? Look at that.
Yes.
This is where Storm Center 7 Chief Meteorologist McCall Frydags hung out tonight with her family. This is the Cincinnati Zoo's Festival of Lights. Weather, not too bad for McCall's family to check out 4 million lights, Robert.
Yeah, a little dreary during the day, but at night when you need to see the lights, you have a little bit of mist outside. It's probably glorious out there.
This is the zoo's 40th year putting on such a display, so thankfully folks were able to see that. But when it comes to seeing something else in the sky,
it might be a little difficult.
I was going to say, some would say it got mooned.
Yeah, possibly, because it was pretty cloudy. Now there was some breakup in the cloud cover, especially during the northern part of the viewing area, like Auglaize County was a little bit clear. So you may have seen the moon. You may have seen a little speck as well. That little red speck was Mars, actually, and, you know, it's not that big, but we were able to see, at least, there it is, see that little thing right there? It's probably hard to see, but that's Mars. Now, something that you did, here we go. What happened was, the moon, actually, not too long ago, just passed in front of Mars. It's known as the lunar occultation, at least the occultation of Mars. And so it was about 15 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago, where you could actually see Mars again. It passed just in front of it, so it was something cool to see up there. If you could see it, it was pretty cloudy out there, and it's going to remain pretty cloudy overnight. Here you can see the satellite imagery, and we're looking at some pretty dense cloud cover. There was a little bit of breakup in the cloud cover in a few places, but it was pretty cloudy. It was pretty misty all day, even had a few sprinkles in some spots. Not really looking at any rain across the Buckeye State now. Again, there's a little bit of mist likely in some spots that aren't popping up, a little that isn't popping up, but down toward the southwest, there you can see some better bands of rain, and this is actually getting close to the Midwest. Now, how far north will it go? Will it go as far north as Dayton? Well, it's been a little bit tricky to actually see that, at least on some of our computer models, but we do expect some of that rain to at least make its way, perhaps in our southern counties, and maybe a little bit up toward the north. Right now, we're looking at some pretty good visibility in downtown Dayton, where it's 46 degrees. It's 43 in Urbana, Springborough's at 46, Xenia at 45, and to be honest, that's pretty typical for this time of year. We're typically in the 40s each afternoon, for about 44 degrees for early December. So you can see Thursday and Friday will be just slightly above that, and then cooling down a bit toward the weekend and into next week. So not crazy above average, not crazy below, just right where we typically are in early December. Now, we're pretty cloudy still. We're going to remain pretty cloudy overnight. Now, I mentioned the showers, that wave of rain coming up from Missouri. Is it going to stay to the south? Well, at least in this model run here, this computer model run, we're looking at some showers down to the south. You might see a few trickle up north of the interstate, but beyond that, not expecting too much rain. A better chance of rain will be on Friday, and perhaps a few showers at night on Saturday. Temperatures, too, they stay pretty consistent.
I learned a new word, lunar occultation, and I'm never going to say that again.
Can you spell that for us?
I wrote it down, so yes.
That's good.
All right, thanks. Holiday shopping is in full swing, and there's one group of people spending a lot more money than others.
Yeah, why inflation does not seem to be bothering them anyway.